Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. You know how my videos, at least my review videos, are normally structured, right? If you've been around here for a bit, there's generally a short introduction, a little bit of history, then we were looking at some stats, how I'm setting up the ship, and then we get into usually 2 games, just to show off the different facets and aspects of this ship. Today is going to be slightly different, because this ship is a ship that I was actually very excited about. And I generally try to stay away from seeing other people's reviews or just, from trying to hear about the ship until I've tested it myself. In this case, I had heard, well, a couple of things, but I was trying to stay neutral and, try to figure out what I can do with this thing. This is the Paolo Emilio. On PC, this ship is affectionately known as the Paolo Emilio because it has sort of, you could call it a gimmick or a niche. Right? The whole idea about this ship is that it has short range but very hard-hitting torpedoes. It is very, very fast. I think in PC it goes up about 60 knots or something. And it has a fuel smoke. So what you do is you find your target, you switch on the fuel smoke, you YOLO the target, and blast it out of the water with torpedoes. And then you get away and wait until they reload and rinse and repeat. Now, if you were to open a dictionary and you would look up reckless, borderline suicidal playstyle, you'll probably find a picture of me there. So I was really excited, thinking that, yes, this is going to be a ship that allows me to, zip around in the countryside, blast people out of the water, and just be gone before anybody realizes what's going on. That was my expectation. The reality, unfortunately, is very, very different. So, the Paolo Emilio, Tier 9 premium Italian. Well, technically it's a destroyer, but I mean, look at the size of the thing, right? This is a Khabarovsk. Nobody's going to be accusing the Khabarovsk of being a destroyer. That is the Paolo Emilio. That thing's massive. So, what are the stats like? When I first saw it, I thought, and I actually posted that on Discord, I said, okay, these torpedoes are interesting. So, let's compare her to the Mogador, because that is probably sort of the closest that we can get here. And just have a look. So, the Paolo Emilio gets the engine accelerator 3, 4 charges of it. Maximum speed increased by 15%. So does the Mogador, but she only gets 2. She also gets 4 of the fuel smokes. Although these are fuel smoke 1s, they only last for 10 seconds. The hull is very comparable to the Mogador. She's got absolutely no armor, which is historically somewhat accurate. And I'm saving the history bit for when we actually get the Capitani Romani class destroyers, if we ever get them. Look at the maneuverability. The speed is identical to the Mogador, but look at the turn time and the max traverse speed. These things get the mobility of a cruiser. The guns are absolute garbage. You've got 8 of them, yes. They're taking 8 seconds to reload. You don't get a reload booster. And you get to shoot semi-armor piercing, which isn't very great in terms of penetration. And she's got a 10 degrees per second turret traverse speed. Now, you could say the Mogador has a comparable base reload. Yes, but the Mogador's got a 10-kilometer range on these things and gets a rapid reload. The Emilio has got an under 8-kilometer range on the guns. So, the guns are useless. So it's a cruiser with guns that you cannot use, or barely use for anything. Now to the torpedoes. This is where it all belongs, right? Nobody cares about the guns on the Paolo Emilio. The Paolo Emilio is all about rushing things and blumping them in the side with torpedoes. 5,400 alpha damage. Okay, that's a good start. And we get 12 of them. Okay, that sounds like something I can work with. The reload is, of course, abysmal. She's got twice the reload of the Mogador. So obviously, if you go for torpedo DPS, the Mogador is probably going to beat this thing. 4.8 kilometers range, so practically Soviet amount of torpedo ranges. Torpedoes are normal, have a normal speed, good chance of flooding, and that's that. So get in close, blonk people in the side with torpedoes. Got it. The AA is absent, and the surface detection is dreadful. All right then. What else can you do with this thing? You're seeing that I'm a little bit of a loss of words. So far, it still sounds like, and this was me after looking at the stats. And let's just finish the roundup on the stats and the build. Actually, before we do that, now let's do something else. Right. So the next thing I realized is that the torpedoes are in 3 launchers. Yes, but 2 of them are side mounted, and the third one here in the rear, slightly behind the superstructure, is center mounted. That is a problem, because that means you only get 8 torpedoes out, and a 40,000 points alpha strike is not enough to one-shot a battleship, which means you need to turn around and use the other side of the torpedoes. Unfortunately, turning around is not something that Paolo Emilio actually does. So, okay, that's put a bit of a dampener on it. The other problem is that the torpedo launchers are currently completely bugged. And I'll show you what the problem is. Actually, we're going to go into the training room. And we're just going to start a battle with the Paolo Emilio. And now we have reported this bug, obviously, and hopefully it'll get fixed at some point. But right now, you'll see what I mean. All right, so once that actually starts... All right, here we go. So feast your eyes on the, I don't think I can zoom in any better. Look at the torpedo launchers, specifically the torpedo launchers to the right, the one on the right side and the center mounted. So as you can see, they're both pointing there, right? I've got 2 torpedoes. You see the 2 green lines. I've got 2 torpedoes on target. Now I'm going to move forward. What's going to happen? What happens here is that the forward torpedo launcher has a steeper arc than the rear-mounted centerline torpedo launcher. So once I reach that arc, keep an eye on what the centerline launcher is doing. There you go. You see that? It's turning to the other side. This is the same problem that's currently plaguing the Japanese ships. Like the thing that makes Amagi almost unplayable at the moment. It's the centerline turret rotation bug. So what should happen is the centerline torpedo launcher should be, angled to its maximum traverse towards forward here, as you can see right now. Now, when I'm starting to get out of alignment, what should happen is it should stay there. So if I'm looking at the guns, look at the rear turrets, right? The rear turrets are moving, and now I'm moving out of the angles. The rear turrets are just staying there. So if I move back in, my rear turrets are on target again. With the torpedoes, if I move back in, it's like if I've done this, right? So now I've got 1 torpedo launcher, and we'll wait for the other one. And this is where it's normally going to be looking if you're going forward. So now I'm right next to a battleship, and I'm launching my torpedoes, and I'm trying to launch my rear torpedoes, and I can't because they are still rotating. They are still rotating. There they come. And now I can launch the second set. So yeah, that's completely broken. Now you could argue, well, then just look at the side while you're rushing something. But yeah, well, I mean, you generally look forward to the thing that you're rushing at, not sideways. And if you look, you basically have to sail like this, right? You would have to sail like this, rushing a target, in order to maintain the torpedo launchers on target, and then kind of peak and then stay here like that again. So that's just ridiculous, right? So let's leave that. That is just stupid. All right, so the torpedo launchers are broken. The torpedo launchers are also not as useful as you think they are because, well, the ship can't turn. It's got a terrible turning circle. It has the maneuverability of a cruiser. The guns are useless. The concealment is terrible. It is a massive target. And yes, it's fast. But that just means that you get yourself killed more quickly. Because the one thing that the ship's supposed to be able to do, which is to death strike rush any target in the game, by just get next to it, blonk it with torpedoes in the side, and get out again, it can't. Because of the bug. And even if the bug wasn't there, you still don't have the Alpha Strike. You can't even blab a full health tier 8 battleship with these torpedoes, because you need all 3 sets for them, which means you need to turn the ship around, which by the time you've done that, you're dead. Because this thing is so massive, and again, I'm putting the Khabarovsk here for comparison, right? This thing is so massive that 2 minutes into the game, you're dead, right? I have played 13 games in this ship, 13. And there was one battle that I actually survived to the end. And you're going to see that battle later, because I don't want to end this on on such a depressing note. But let's quickly go through the other things. Equipment. So you can try to do various things. You can try to play with the main battery mod 1 to get a bit better turret rotation, which, given that the guns have an 8-second base reload at tier 9, is, well, you may as well not bother. You could use the torpedo tube mod to actually get your wayward rear torpedo launcher back on track a little bit faster. Or you could, reduce the main gun reload a little bit. It doesn't matter. Slot 2, you can play with the steering gear, or you could play with the propulsion mod. It doesn't matter. Why does it not matter? I've played with double steering. She still can't maneuver. The Khabarovsk can't maneuver either, but the Khabarovsk is playing at 11 kilometer range plus a G-spammer. This thing needs to get point blank, right? And it sails like you're basically YOLOing in a Neptune. You can do that once. Actually, I'd rather take a Neptune than this thing. Third slot, you can take concealment. You still have a terrible concealment, but it's a bit less terrible. You could take double steering, I've tried. Or you could take the propulsion mod, because you may as well not bother. So it doesn't matter what you put in there. You can put the historical camo on, which gives you main battery firing range, torpedo range, a bit better traverse speed, which is good, and better surface detection, which is may as well not care, but doesn't help you in any way. So with this setup that I've currently got, we have a turn time of just under 6 seconds. We have a actually relatively long acceleration, given that this is supposed to be a destroyer. We do have a good base max speed of 44 knots, and we've got the engine boost. Oh, I forgot to mention, yes, you can get the main battery reload down, which I would recommend, or you can get the torpedo reload down, which I wouldn't, because it's taking over 90 seconds to reload the buggers. You're not going to get another set off just because you get 3%, but you may as well. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. So with this, we've got a gun range of a whopping 8 kilometers now. Like I said, the semi-MRP thing, even with the legend, and I've tried this with the legendary captain. Even with the legendary captain, it doesn't make any difference. I've actually tried playing with both legendary captains, because there's a new one. I'll get to that in a second. Anyway, it doesn't make a difference. You can't penetrate weak spots on battleships. It's good against destroyers, but with an almost 8-second reload, it doesn't make an awful lot of difference. Torpedoes take forever to reload. You've got a 5 kilometer range now. AA is absent. Surface detection is terrible. Nothing surprising here. This is actually a commander who's probably best suited for this. Although the one thing that I'm missing is the sixth sense. That's actually quite useful. When people are shooting at you, it's not that you can do something about it, right? It's not that you can dodge anything. You can't even dodge battleship shells that are being fired from 10 kilometers away, because this thing doesn't have the maneuverability for it. The only thing that was kind of interesting here is it's the improved Mistweaver, which on a fuel smoke 1 makes absolutely no difference, but you just can't get you get the cooldown time down by a third, which is neat. I've tested this. The Engine Overload Plus is kind of cool, because it gives you the higher speed for longer, which is good, because you've got 4 engine overloads and you can actually use them. This skill makes no difference whatsoever, and you get the Giant Hunter for slightly more torpedo damage against big things. I've played a couple of rounds with this. The game I've recorded is going to be with Sansonetti. Not with Sansonetti, with the other one. But it's the same story, right? None of this makes any difference. So, I'll show you one battle, because that was literally the only battle where... and I think that was my highest damage in this ship, actually. Unfortunately, the ship as it stands right now, and I'm doing the conclusion before the battle because I want to end on a positive note, the ship as it stands right now is a complete waste of time, money, and everything else. And I regret having had to test this, and I am disappointed, and my day is ruined. Nah, it's not that bad. It's kind of fun, almost, you could say, but just don't expect to do more than 30,000 points of damage or live longer than 3 minutes into the battle. And but yeah, I wouldn't spend money on that, honestly. All right, let's get into one game and try to end this on a somewhat positive note. We are in a tier 10 battle. Well, obviously, we don't have a carrier. I haven't even been talking about carriers yet. Once they learn how fast you are, yeah, don't even start. Anyway, I said we were going to be positive, so let's be positive. We're up against Montana, Izumo, Seattle, Shima, Friesland, Benham, and Yugumo. Lots of destroyers. Let's go. And we're playing domination. The other thing, center cup maps, which is pretty much about 75% of maps I'm getting. Completely useless, because you get yourself into the center cup, you're spotted, Christopher Colombo, hey there in the comments, is going to take you out. Anyway, we're not on a center cup map, this is a good start, but we're on neighbors for domination. So I am going to head over to A cup, and this is the full speed build, because you might as well not care. So engine boost up, preheating on, and we're up to almost 54 knots. I've got Colbert and Shima with me, so I'm gonna head towards that island there because I need to get into cover. If playing out in the open in the ship is a death sentence, pretty much. You will be gunned down in no time by anything. Fortunately, this is mostly full of destroyers and an absence of Italian battleships that are normally the things. And look at the turn rate of this thing. It's just disgusting. Anyway, obviously we made it into A cup, and we're going to be hiding behind that island and waiting until we see what the enemy team is getting up to. I'm going to stop here. Engine boost has expired, and there might be 2 enemy destroyers. Okay, what is this? Sonar? So that's probably Friesland or Seattle somewhere. But there's Yugumo as well. I'm getting shot at. So, but the rate of fire, that's probably Friesland. So I'm just going to stay behind here and wait until his sonar is down and the inevitable Yugumo torpedoes have come around. So let's peek out again very carefully. Anybody there? Oh, hello, Mr. Yugumo. I'm not even going to try and torpedo him because he's just going to turn away and my torpedoes don't have the range. But I can shoot him in the side, and that is going to do some damage eventually. And then I'm just going to have to dodge those torpedoes, and then we're good to go. So, Yugumo's out of torps. Friesland doesn't have any. Let's go. Leroy Jenkins. There we go. All right, Friesland. Now, if you're in a Friesland, you generally want to run away or kite away from an enemy ship and burn them down, because you don't have any torpedoes. Now, I have semi-armor piercing, but I am going to have to chase the Friesland. The thing is, if you're in a Friesland, that generally works because you're in a destroyer, which is reasonably quick. Reasonably quick does not exist in the vocabulary of the Paolo Emilio. There's only one speed, and that's ludicrous speed. So, engine boost up, and let's hunt down that Friesland. Yugumo is somewhere on the sides, it's hiding until his torpedoes are reloaded, so someone else can bother with it. The Colbert obviously has buggered off because he's got battleships to farm, and cannot be arsed dealing with the destroyers, but Friesland is now hiding behind an island. Fuddler, the good is that going to do it? Now, Friesland has a smokescreen, and Friesland can see me, I can't see the Friesland. Friesland has a smokescreen. I don't have any way to see him in his smokescreen. Well, except one, proximity detection. And if there's anything that this thing is good at, it is getting into proximity of things. Hello, Mr. Friesland. Yeah. And now he's trying to back behind the corner. Now he's going into smoke. It's like, ha, he can't see me. Yes, I bloody well can. I'm in proximity detection range. Here, have some torpedoes. Plonk. Dead Friesland. Okay. Alright, that was number 1. Who's there? There was a Shima to my side for a second, but our Yugumo is being chased out of A cup. He's calling out to go after the Shima. I think it was a Shima, because we've seen the Yugumo and the other the Friesland, so it must have been a Shima. Alright, engine was up again. Whee! Back into A cup we go. Yeah, I can't be bothered to hunt down the Shima. Shima is not really threatening anyone right now. I want A cup back. Because we're ahead, and hey, there's the Yugumo, and he's currently being, I think, going defensive against our Yugumo. So, Leroy Jenkins, in we go. Let's see if he's got torpedoes ready. He smokes up. As I mentioned, smokes work fine, and I've got fuel smoke, so fuel smoke up. So in case he does have torpedoes, he doesn't necessarily know where I am. and get into proximity detection range. Where is he? Where are you, you little bugger? There you are. Hello. Now, obviously, the turret, the rear torpedo launcher is pointing the wrong way, but by now it's gotten its way around, and one torpedo is enough, and that's a dead Yugamo. All right, where's the rest of the action? Over at C-Cup. Well, that's not a problem because my last engine boost is about to come off cooldown. Alright, and even without the engine boost up, we're still doing almost 46 knots. So this is a reasonably quick ship, I would say. Alright, let's get back there. And engine boost up. And find what's left from the enemy team. Isn't an awful lot left. We've killed 2 destroyers. They've killed 1 battleship. We haven't lost anything. Okay, the friendly Yugamo takes out the Benham. Okay, that leaves 3 enemy ships. And could this be a Ruffle Stomp medal? I would very much enjoy that. So let's see if who's on low hit points. Minnesota. Okay, he's reasonably safe from anything. There's Shima. Okay, Izumo is dead. Colbert's burned him down. That leaves a cruiser and that remaining Shima over there. Baltimore's on full health, so let's see who gets him. Baltimore is capping. Let's see if we can still get ourselves some capture points. Okay, Seattle is dead. Nice, well done, Baltimore. Oh no, we can't. But there's Shimakaze. Hello, Mr. Shimakaze. Leroy Jenkins. Full speed ahead. I'm on an engine boost, but that's okay. Okay, Shima goes smoking up. I can do that too, so I smoke up too. I mean, Shima knows where I'm coming, but let's see. We'll just go bow in towards. Yep, there come the Shima torps. Might be taking 1 or so. That's fine. I don't really have to bother about it. Of course, my torpedo launcher is once again pointing in the completely wrong direction. Yeah, sort that. He's on low health. We're just gonna gun him down. Anyway, yeah, torpedo launcher is still not on target. Anyway, just shoot at him. All right, 1 shot. And can I get him? Nope. Baltimore gets him. That's all right. He's dead. Shima is dead. Shima, and we got the coveted Ruffle Stomp medal. And we came out on top. And like I said, 45,000 points of damage is the best game I've had in this thing. And I haven't even shot at anything but destroyers in this whole game. I had fun in this game. I didn't in the other 12. So, alright, jokes aside, and as a little post-conclusion, I wouldn't bother. I think the idea is great, but the ship as it stands is not capable of doing anything well. Maybe if the bug is fixed, I might try it again, but the general problem remains that you don't have the maneuverability, your guns are terrible, and fighting enemy destroyers is difficult, and you can't take point, and you will be one-shot by, as usual, anything Italian. That's true for everybody. It's just that you can't dodge it either. So I would say, yeah, avoid this one, as much as it pains me, because I was looking forward to something that allows me to YOLO successfully. But it's not this one. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.